All right, everybody, welcome to episode 23 of the TLDR podcast. This is the one where nobody likes you or us, so we can do it poorly. Thank you for the giggle. I appreciate that.
I got it. I got that one.
You appreciate that. We're kind of all over the place today. Tyler's supposed to not curse because he's at his mommy's house, so we'll see how that goes. Tradon's got a little, I don't know, what would you call that thing behind your head?
Cornucopia. My mom set it up.
That's a mom thing for sure.
Yep.
That's a mom thing for sure. So we got two people there. We're missing Eric. Just since last time we missed Tyler, we forgot to bring it up until like halfway through the podcast.
Because of his mom's birthday. So.
Yeah, it is his mom's birthday. So shout out to Eric's mom for her
birthday, mama.
James, how you doing over there?
I'm tired, dude. Because I sat here waiting for Tyler to start this damn podcast.
Yeah.
Boo.
Taking forever.
Ooh.
Yeah, Tyler was a little bit late, and then he's yelling right before we started recording, yelling at his sister to bring him a beer.
I mean, what are sisters for?
Not a nice human being.
Yeah, he's really not.
Yeah, I love you. Tyler, you're really batting 1,000 this episode already.
Yeah, Tyler, you're struggling so far.
Sorry. Turn it around.
Yeah, there you go. It is the week of Thanksgiving.
It is.
If you're in America. If you're in Canada, Thanksgiving was 2 months ago. But so we're going to start off. No break in between. We're going to go right into it. Tradon is going to lead us on our kind of Thanksgiving episode to start it off, and then it will divulge from there, I guess. We'll see what happens. But Tradon, Thanksgiving, let's hear it.
Yeah. Look, I wanted to take this week to kind of get the listeners to really get to know us, and Thanksgiving is extremely traditional for some families, and some people's lives. And what better way to get, our listeners to know us than find out what we do on Thanksgiving Day and morning, night, whatever. So I just want to go around the horn and kind of hear you guys' special traditions, your favorite foods, something that kind of sticks out with this holiday. I know this holiday is some of our favorites. It was on our list of favorite holidays, back, was that 3-4 weeks ago. So, we'll start with the late guy himself, Tyler. What is your perfect Thanksgiving? What about Thanksgiving just, is your favorite thing?
Yeah, so growing up as a kid, and a lot of people know this, I was a super picky eater. Still am pretty picky. But now that I've grown up and can eat more food, it's a lot more enjoyable. But as a kid, I really didn't like Thanksgiving that much, just because I didn't really get the whole hoopla. I was like, cool, turkey, that was really all I ate. But now I eat pretty much everything that's on the table. We had Friendsgiving on Sunday. All the food there was wonderfully cooked by Kelsey and the like there. Amazing job. So now Thanksgiving is a lot more fun. Also, I think being away from home, getting to come back home for that week or a few days is very nice. Good. It's always good to see the family, and just kind of spend more time with them, because you haven't been able to spend time as much as you were when you were a kid, and it was just more family time. It's what's the point of it? So I definitely appreciate Thanksgiving a lot more now than I used to. So I think that for me is kind of how I feel about Thanksgiving. It used to be one of my least favorite. Now it's definitely one of my favorites.
So what, I guess, in going into Thanksgiving now, which seems to be more part of, you like it more now. What is there a tradition that your family kind of always goes to? Is there something special that your family does every Thanksgiving?
Yeah, nothing really unique, unfortunately. I mean, we watch football, we play football in the backyard. We got the turkey, pretty much the same old Thanksgiving food. We're pretty basic here in the King household, but that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, that's special in its own right. Is there a special food that if it's not on the table, you start throwing fits?
My mom's homemade dinner rolls.
Oh,
those are the best. If those aren't on the table at Thanksgiving, I don't want to be there.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah. You should give thanks to your mom regardless of if she has her rolls.
I'm pretty sure she heard me, so.
But hey, she better be starting on those rolls, it sounds like.
Yep.
Well, shifting over, James, I know that you love food. So Thanksgiving is kind of like a special, kind of a big deal, because that's all what it's about. What are your favorite things about Thanksgiving in particular in your life?
Well, typically I don't go home. I don't see my family. I see my family once a year. That's Christmas time. So Thanksgiving usually revolves around friends, and typically I actually have work on Thanksgiving. I hear a dog.
There's a dog.
There's a dog. I have a really good women's soccer team that pretty much wins the state championship every single year, which means they practice on Thanksgiving because they have a game the day after Thanksgiving. So my mornings are typically spent at work, and then once that's done, I watch football and eat a ton of food and drink a lot of beer all day long. And it's nice. This year I'm gonna do a turkey bowl because I don't have work. Nobody has
Nice.
work really. So yeah, I'm gonna go play some football, relive the glory days, then go eat some food, drink some beer, and watch more football. And that's my Thanksgiving.
I absolutely love that. So going back to before college, because I think it was college that, I've known you since college. It was kind of college that you kind of stopped seeing your family as much as, you normally did when you lived with them. Is there a special tradition when you were a kid that it kind of sticks out in your mind that made it special?
My brother and I had pie eating competitions. So
I love
we get
that.
like an entire pumpkin pie and we just try to eat as much as we could. And I won,
and
obviously.
You won every year. Okay.
Yeah, every single year. I'm a fat piece of shit. But a jolly one at the same time. So we're good.
That's all that matters. And so same question to you. If there's not this particular food on the table, do you get, you're never cranky as long as there's food on the table, but is there one food that you just need to have?
On Thanksgiving?
Yes.
I'm gonna go turkey on that one.
Okay.
I'm happy with all food, like you said, but definitely there needs to be turkey. Not the biggest ham guy, but as long as there's turkey on there and mashed potatoes, like the basics, I'm good with that.
Awesome. All right. Well, we don't have Eric here, but I do want to know, Alex, I know you're not home now, but the rest of it, well, two of us are. What is your typical Thanksgiving look like nowadays?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, James, what are the chances that you get hurt playing football on Thursday?
Oh, dude! Last time I had this gnarly turf burn that took up my entire leg. You remember that, Tradon?
I do.
That was disgusting.
I
couldn't walk on it properly for like a week and a half because it was so swollen and just bad. So very high.
High percentage.
Very
Okay,
competitive.
cool.
Yeah,
that was
high.
the only thing I thought about while you were talking. I was like, man, I wonder if James is going to hurt himself.
Probably.
Yeah, my Thanksgiving has changed now that myself and my one sibling are 21. It's turned into a lot more drinking than ever before, especially since I work for a winery and a brewery, and my fiance works for a winery. So there's a lot of free wine and beer coming in. But it is a lot of football watching. It kind of goes like this. We get there. My mom yells at me about something. My hair's too long. My beard's too long. I didn't dress appropriately for the dinner or something like that. Then I'm drinking 2 to 3 glasses of wine. We eat. We got to go for a walk. The post-Thanksgiving walk is key. It's all that digestion. And then that's when you come back for those 3 to 4 pieces of pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is bullshit.
Oh wow, that's a hot take.
Yeah, hot take.
A bit of a hot take.
Pie.
But I don't.
Why?
This is Thanksgiving week. I'm not gonna get angry. No,
Why?
I'm not gonna be mad. We'll take it this time.
Dude, it's like the consistency. It feels like throw up. Like it's literally just like mush.
Fair enough.
Like why would you not just eat an apple pie with a nice little dollop of vanilla ice cream right there?
Fair enough.
I think apple pie does trump pumpkin pie, but pumpkin pie is still delicious.
Yes, but apple pie is not as Thanksgiving-y.
True.
But it is a good pie. I'm not gonna say that.
What about like a pecan/pecan pie, however you want to say it?
Oh yeah,
I love that one too.
Yeah.
I love all pie.
Anything that says the word pie after, James likes it. Doesn't matter. So
so then James, would you eat like a key lime pie during Thanksgiving?
Yeah, if it's on the table, why not?
Okay. I guess I asked the wrong person. You're the fat ass.
Yeah, I think you need it. So Alex, before it turned into this drinking / your mom getting on you for your beard shit.
That's been forever.
When you were a kid, pre-beard times, is there something that stuck out
2 years old
in your life?
Yeah, 2 years old beard. No, we never were at one house for Thanksgiving, it was always somewhere different. You know, sometimes it was one grandparent, sometimes it was the other grandparent's house, sometimes it was my parents' house. So it was always the it's November 15th. Hey mom, where are we going for Thanksgiving this year? That's what I remember most, because I never could keep track. And she's like, oh, we're going to this grandma's house. I'm like, oh, okay, got it, mom, got it. You let me know when I need to get ready. That's what it's, yeah. That's what our like tradition is like, wait, where are we going again? It's,
Okay.
obviously with COVID, that has changed, but
Yeah.
that was
So, okay. So, same question. What food do you need to have?
yeah, gotta be mashed potatoes and gravy.
Okay.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Also, because the gravy can go on the turkey, it can go on the dinner roll, it can go on the cranberry sauce if you're a crazy person. It can go on the dressing / stuffing, whatever you call it, depending on where you live or how you cook it. On the ham, on whatever, on the pie if you really want. If you're going to be, I feel like that's something James would do maybe.
Let's give it a shot.
But yeah, the mashed potatoes and gravy is clutch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. And I guess I will kind of talk about the same questions without asking myself them, because I'm not that vain. Thanksgiving is a huge thing for my family, especially because all of my family including my parents, are Canadian, and my sister and I are the only Americans in the family. And my parents have been obviously in America for over half their lives. So this particular holiday has always been between the four of us. And it's always been special. It's we always play board games, and we still do that to this day. That's kind of a special thing. And one time we actually forgot to cook the Thanksgiving dinner because we got so wrapped up in board games. That was like 2 years ago. But it's always special. Something that always stuck out to me is I guess mostly the games would always stick out to me, as it does now. Food wise, I would agree with the mashed potatoes and gravy, but I am a huge cranberry guy. I love my cranberry sauce. You're going to think I'm a crazy person. I mix everything together and I just eat it all. Like I love Thanksgiving. Nice. I love Thanksgiving dinner. And was it, James, is it Earl's that has that Thanksgiving sandwich?
Yeah, dude.
That has everything.
Sandwich
yeah,
of Earl.
dude.
Yep.
See, yeah, they know how to do it, and you pretty much get to have those for like days after. With all the leftovers. So that's pretty special. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit of sports regarding Thanksgiving. So I want to go around the horn and ask everyone who their picks are for the 3 football games on Thanksgiving. So we have the morning game. We have the Texans versus the Lions. Tyler, who do you got?
Definitely going Texans on that one. Deshaun Watson, he's my boy. He's my quarterback. Came off a really good game last week against the Patriots. Taking on a weaker Lions team, I'm going to take Deshaun Watson, the Texans, in that one.
Okay, James.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Tyler. The Lions are just bad. Deshaun Watson is really fun to watch. He's an electric player. Brandon Cooks is looking pretty good. Duke Johnson looks bad once again. But, I think the Texans are going to take it. J.J. Swall will come through, have 3 sacks. That's my prediction. Texans take that.
And Alex.
If DeAndre Swift plays for the Lions, he is in concussion protocol right now. I'm going to go big, and I'm going to say the Lions in a squeaker. They always play Thanksgiving. Lions.
So, James, the spread is 2.5 points. I bet on Thanksgiving. That's another thing that's a new tradition for me.
That's why you wanted to do these questions.
Yes.
That makes sense.
I need to know who I'm going to pick. So 2.5 point spread. Do you think the Houston covers?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. At least they're going to win by 6 points, at least.
Good to know. All right. The afternoon game is the Washington No Names against the Dallas Cowboys. Tyler, who do you got?
Man, those are 2 just teams I really don't like. I'm probably not going to watch that one. That's when I'm going to take a break and do something else. I'm going to go with the football team on this one.
Oh.
The Washington football team specifically. Just because I really don't like the Cowboys. That's really the only reason.
Fair enough. James?
I agree with Tyler again. I hate doing. Don't let me go second next time. But I agree with Tyler again. The Washington football team has grown on me tremendously ever since Alex Smith came back in the lineup. He led them to their first win, or his first win as a starter in a long time, this last weekend. Terry McLaurin, Alex Smith, they look good. Defense is starting to look better and better every single week. The Cowboys are just a sorry team right now after Dak Prescott went down. Yeah, I think that Washington will take this one.
And Alex.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Pretty much everything James just said. The return of Alex Smith is awesome. He should be the comeback player of the year. Should be named after him after everything that he's gone through. So
Definitely.
I'm gonna be rooting for him, but I'm also agree with Tyler. I'm probably not gonna watch that one.
Fair enough. And I hope Washington wins as well. All right, the marquee game, which I think is by far the most interesting, the undefeated Steelers against the Ravens. James, I'm going to let you start. Who do you got?
This one's interesting mainly because there's a ton of Ravens players who's going to be on the COVID list when that game starts.
Mm-hmm.
Namely, two of the three running backs are on that list, and J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram, which leaves Gus Edwards as their only running back option out of the backfield. The Steelers are a good team, but they look like a bad undefeated team.
They do.
I don't know how they pulled off 10-0. Big Ben doesn't look accurate. He doesn't look mobile. He looks like a statue. The defense is making all the plays for them. If Lamar Jackson can finally figure it out, this game could be a little bit more competitive. But until he does that, the Steelers will win this game.
All right. Alex.
Yeah, this kind of feels like, the Ravens have been playing kind of poorly. The Steelers, I agree with you, James. They don't feel like a team that should be 10-0. They kind of feel like a team that should be like 7-3, 8-2. They're obviously a good team. They have an elite defense. This sort of feels like a trap game. Yeah, there's a dog squeaking in the back. That's my bad. I tried to hide that toy, and I think he went around the couch to get it. I wasn't paying attention. It kind of feels like a trap game with all the COVID issues that the Ravens are going through. So I'm like, I really want to pick the Ravens, but they've been playing so poorly lately. I don't think I can. So I think it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to go with the Steelers squeaking it out.
All right. And Tyler.
Yeah, not that it really matters this season, but who's the home team in this one?
I think the Steelers.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the Ravens upset this week. Short week, you never know what's gonna happen. I think Ravens playing their biggest rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're gonna find some fire even with their COVID shortened roster. They're gonna find a way to beat this Pittsburgh team.
Well, you guys aren't really giving me much help because now there's, you guys are differing, but whatever. I really appreciate you guys doing that for me. And I also want to take this time to thank you guys, to thank the listeners. This is a time of thanks to the people that mean the most to us. And you guys are what keep us going. We love that you guys stay tuned every single week. And we hope that you guys have a very safe and great Thanksgiving wherever you are. And please, again, please stay safe. And yeah, that's my segment. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Wow. It was so heartfelt. That's so unlike us. It's so weird. Usually we're just so mean to each other.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break, and then we come back. James is going to go over his fantasy waiver wire pickups just like he does every week. So we'll be right back. 3. All right, everybody, welcome back. Maybe you ate some turkey in between our little break, or some mashed potatoes or pie, and you put gravy on it. Try that out. I don't know. Tradon's doing something weird with his hands. He's feeling weird. I don't know. Real quick before we get into James, did you guys have any idea that the Major League Soccer playoffs are going on right now?
No.
Any idea?
There's a Major League Soccer league?
Apparently, yes. It's the only sports that are on TV right now as we are recording. So that's what I have on.
Who knew?
Yeah, fun fact. Also, fun fact, it's raining in Seattle. What a crazy time.
Isn't it always raining there?
Yeah, that was the sarcasm, Tyler. I mean, fucking idiot.
Come on.
All right, James, I'm done with Tyler. Go ahead. Tell us football things.
All right. Fantasy football week 12. There's only 2 weeks left in the regular season before your playoffs start, which means probably 5 of you are really listening now. In our league, there's actually 8 of us who are still in the race. The only 2 are not are me and Alex. Pretty bad. Standing wise, it hasn't changed much since last week. Tyler is still in first. Eric is still in second. Tradon is still in sixth. And me and Alex are still in last place.
Hey, I was in 7th. I moved up a spot.
He moved up 1 spot. Congratulations. And he's in the race, so good for him. He scored the most amount of points this week. There are no teams on bye this week, and we have 3 games on Thursday, as Tradon just told us about. Going right into it, we're going to start with quarterback. My pick for the week is Daniel Jones, a.k.a. the fantasy GOAT, dubbed by Eric. He plays for the Giants, if you guys didn't know that. He's owned in 17.1% of leagues. He had a bye last week, so he had no stats last week. He got a week to rest. On the season, he's ranked number 23 in overall QBs. He averaged 18 points in the last 4 games, which is really good. He's starting to develop a good rapport with his wide receiver group, who have been injured the majority of the year prior to the last couple of weeks, so that should just help him out a lot more. He's also starting to run the ball a lot more, and that's really good for a quarterback in terms of points. Against the Eagles, he had 9 rushes for 64 yards and a touchdown. And he plays the Bengals this week, and that's a Bengals team that just got a hell of a lot worse after losing Joe Burrow for this season and probably a little bit of next season. So that means a bad defense gets worse, mainly because that defense cannot stay up the field because their offense will only go 3 and out every single time. So that sucks for the Bengals, but it's really good for Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones could also actually be a multi-week play because he plays the Seahawks the week after they play the Bengals. So, Alex, what do you think about adding the fantasy GOAT?
Yeah, it's a kind of a bummer. We're talking about Daniel Jones more when Eric's not here. But, yeah, from someone that played Joe Burrow last week because my boy Josh Allen was on bye and then he got hurt, that kind of screwed me over. So, yeah, if your quarterback play, maybe you had Dak early on and then you pick someone up like Joe Burrow and now he's hurt, why not? You get a week off so Daniel Jones's legs are fresh. They're playing a Bengals team, like you said, are awful. I don't believe they're going to go 3 and out every single time. They'll probably get at least
90% of the times.
They'll get at least one
down.
first down and minimum 1 first down in this game. But yeah, the Bengals are terrible. They've had 2 weeks to prep for them. Like you said, Daniel Jones has been running more. Yeah, pick him up. If you're not super happy with your quarterback, maybe you had Drew Brees who's been hurt and you picked up Jameis Winston assuming that he was going to be the starter. And then all of a sudden the Saints are like, nah, dog, we're going to play Taysom Hill. Pick up Daniel Jones. If there's just the time where there's really not a whole bunch out there. Any other, quarterbacks that have sort of taken over the job have probably already been scooped up. What did you say? He was owned in 17% of the league. So that's a huge amount. He's playing a shitty team. Go get him.
Do you think he scores more than 20 fantasy points against the Bengals? Why or why not?
Yeah, he might not throw for a bunch of touchdowns or like throw for a lot of yards, but those say 50 to 75 rushing yards that he gets throughout the game will push him over that 20 point threshold.
I agree. Thank you for that, Alex. Moving on to running back, we have Frank Gore, legendary future Hall of Famer, New York from the Jets. He's owned in 8.8% of leagues. In Week 11, he had 15.1 points. Against the Chargers, he had 15 rushes for 61 yards and a touchdown and added 2 receptions for 10 yards. He's the only running back on the active roster right now because LaMichael Perrine, whatever his name is, he's a rookie.
We don't even know his name, so.
He just got injured, so he's not going to be playing. So Frank Gore will be out there for 90% of the snaps. Good for him. He's 37 years old, but he honestly does not look like it one bit. Guy is timeless. He's still a great runner. He can read the holes, and that's all that really matters right now. He's an absolute legend. He's number 2 in the all-time rushing list. He's just, I think, 800 yards behind Walter Payton. So, I mean, if he stays one more year, he might be able to catch that and beat him blown overall, but who knows? And like I said, he's going to be Hall of Fame one day for sure. This might be Gore's last year in the league, and he's recently come out saying that he cannot retire as on a winless team. So I think he's going to be extra motivated to try and score a lot to help this team finally get their first win and go against Adam Gase, because Adam Gase is going to make them want to lose. So we'll see who's stronger, Frank Gore or Adam Gase. Up next, they play the Dolphins. The Dolphins are the best run defense and the Broncos running backs just ran 166 yards and had 2 touchdowns against them. Tyler, you were super high on Rex Burkhead last week, and that was wrong because he tore his ACL during the last game. You also are really in love with all the Dolphins running backs. What do you think about running backs going against the Dolphins? What do you think about the legendary Frank Gore?
Yeah, so that Burkhead decision pretty much cost me. I lost by 0.8 points this week.
God.
And
So pick my guy, man.
had I put anyone else in, I probably would have won. So that was rough. So hopefully my running back choices improve going forward. It seems like I'm looking for running back every single week, just with what's been going on with injuries and all that. This
I got some to sell.
Well, we will talk later then. As far as Frank Gore goes, I think you kind of nailed it. I think at first when you look at it, you're like, why Frank Gore? You know, he doesn't have quite the best resume this season, other than, you know, the name. I mean, he's obviously a legend, but, you know, going against the Dolphins, a pretty good defense. But as you mentioned, you know, he's going to probably get a lot of snaps, and he's Frank Gore. Like, if he's the guy getting the ball, he's probably going to get a good amount of points. So I think this is a pretty solid pick. As you mentioned, he's owned in 8% of leagues. I think there are a few other good running backs to be picked up, which we'll go over later. But I think Frank Gore is a very, very solid pick for this week.
Do you think he finishes as a top 20 running back?
Top 20? I'll say yes.
Why?
Because he's Frank Gore, and he'll make it happen.
Great. Yep, that makes sense.
Hot take.
Trust your gut, kids. Trust your gut. That's what Tyler does, and that's why Rex Burkhead tore his ACL.
Yep.
Moving on to wide receiver.
Boom! Sorry, Rex Burkhead. It's Tyler's fault.
Tyler's fault.
My bad.
Moving on to wide receiver, we got Nelson Aguilar from the Raiders. He's owned in 10.4% of leagues in Week 11, aka Sunday Night Football. He had 20.8 points. So against the Chiefs, he had 6 receptions off 9 targets for 88 yards and a touchdown. On the season as a whole, he has 6 receiving touchdowns. That's 11th among all active wide receivers right now. That's more than Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, and Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp has 2. He's the vet of the wide receiver room in Las Vegas, and he's shown a really good connection with Derek Carr. Reason being because the other 2 wide receivers are rookies, and Brandon Edwards and Henry Ruggs. People are wondering why he's finally starting to show his full potential now rather than earlier on in his career. And that's because he was with the Eagles and had Carson Wentz as his quarterback.
Ooh.
Carson Wentz sucks. So better QB play typically means better wide receiver production, and that's exactly what's happening here. Up next, they play the Falcons, and that's a Falcons team that's ranked 31st in pass defense. Tradon, what do you think about Nelson Aguilar?
Yeah, so this dude's hauled, 6 for 9, 88 yards, touchdown against the Chiefs, 20-point night during a shootout type of game that we saw. He's had kind of a renaissance this season with the Raiders. I mean, he's kind of proven that he's a threat downfield, kind of reinvented himself, has created a new version of himself that, people are turning their heads. And with Derek Carr coming out and playing pretty good football, it kind of begs the question, why is he only owned in 16.5% of leagues? That kind of shocked me. I was actually surprised that I'm surprised that you gave me this, because at first I didn't even know that he was even, eligible to be in your under 50. But while he is playing good football, he's very inconsistent. He goes every other week with a touchdown, no touchdown, touchdown, no touchdown. He'll go out with double-digit points, and then he'll have a one-catch outing the next week. So, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily due to him, or if it's the fact that there's actually multiple options that Derek Carr has now, and that offense gets it done by committee. I mean, they have Renfro, they have Ruggs, they have Darren Waller. So I think that this would keep me from adding Aguilar at this point. It's kind of a similar situation in New England's running back situation. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. He might go off, but he might not. It really depends on kind of the situation, a week by week basis. So I guess I understand why he may be owned in such a low amount of leagues. But at this point in your season, if it's a risky play, but I guess you could do worse, because you are playing the Falcons. So you could probably do worse than Aguilar right now, but it's risky.
He scored the 12th highest amount of fantasy points last week. Does he have another top 12 week this week?
I honestly, I would like to say yes, but I can't. I would say no, because his inconsistency kind of speaks for itself if you look at past weeks.
I agree. Moving on to tight end, last but not least, we have Jordan Reed from the Niners. He's owned in 12.6% of leagues. He was on bye last week, which is good for him because he came off of IR about 2 weeks ago. So it lets that knee heal up on him, which is good. The biggest key for him is that he's pretty much going to be the only pass catching option for the 49ers this week. Kittle's done for the season. Debo still probably has a hamstring injury, and Brandon Ayuk's on the COVID list again. Mullins is the QB, which means that Kyle Shanahan's going to game plan a lot of short and quick passes, which is basically going to be designed for the tight end, aka Jordan Reed. When he's healthy, and that's rare, Jordan Reed is a force to be reckoned with. The last healthy year in Washington, he finished as tight end number 3, where he averaged 17 fantasy points per game. He then took off 2 years because of concussion problems, but the fact of the matter is he's dominant when he's healthy. With the bye last week, there was a lot of chances for him to put in the game plan, which I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan did because he's the only weapon. Up next, they play the Rams. Against the Rams in week 6, yep, exactly, the jersey over there. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Against the Rams in week 6, Kyle Shanahan schemed up the tight end beautifully. Kittle had 109 yards and a touchdown that game against the Rams defense. So look for him to try to do that again with Jordan Reed. Tradon, what are your thoughts on Jordan Reed?
He's intriguing. I mean, 5 of 6 targets, 62 yards during that loss to the Saints a couple weeks ago. But here's the thing. Unless you have a top-tier tight end this year like Kelsey, Waller, Andrews, or Hawkinson, you probably have been struggling in this position week after week. And this might be an opportunity to snag a solid tight end before the start of your playoffs in a few weeks, a couple weeks here. He finished second in targets on his team, catches and receiving yards, and he delivered his best output of the season that week. Again, like you said, Nick Mullins is the quarterback, so he's going to be his main target. However, this offense, it looks deflated. It just does not drum up enough for me. And here's the thing. You can be so talented, you can be so good, but if you can't efficiently move the ball downfield, you're just not going to get enough opportunities as an entire team to really rack up points, unfortunately. And you're playing a stingy Rams defense, which, it may be good or bad. Yes, it might be good that he's going to be, Reed's going to be targeted a lot, but you might not get that many opportunities as a whole because the offense just can't seem to drum up enough oomph and rhythm, and I think that's the biggest risk. I don't think it's him. I think it's the offense as a whole, and that's why I would be a little bit skeptical of this pick. But like you said, he is the top target. He is solid. He has shown that he has greatness in him. So if you're struggling in this position, this might be might be a good risk because you probably you're probably shooting shooting from the hip anyway.
How many points do you think he puts up against the Rams?
I'll give him double digits. I'll give him a solid 10.5.
With a touchdown or without a touchdown?
I think I'll take a touchdown. I think you guys can score a touchdown against this Rams team, and I'll give it to you.
To Jordan Reed, cool. I
think Freya agrees with that pick.
She does. Tyler, who do you pick?
So I like this guy, Wayne Gallman, running back for the New York Giants. He is owned in 55% of leagues, but I think he's got a good matchup this week. Playing the Cincinnati Bengals, he's scored a touchdown in 4 straight games. They are coming off a bye, so be rested. So if he is available in your league, look to pick him up.
When does Devontae Freeman come off IR?
Great question. I do not know that. Do you know that?
Well, I mean, if he comes off IR now, the Wayne Gallman pick could be a bust. But if he's on IR for a little bit longer, then Wayne Gallman for sure. Just something you guys should probably look up, or Tyler, before you
Great call, James. Thank you for that.
I'm just messing with you. Devontae Freeman comes off in week 13, so Wayne Gallman's a good pick.
Parker.
There you go. Week 12, Gallman.
Alex, who do you have?
Derek Carr, coming off a couple good games for the Raiders. He's playing a not very good Falcons team. Derek Carr, I feel like, has been vastly underrated throughout most of his career. He's had some terrible teams to play and, some skill players. He's kind of got those skill players now. Derek Carr, dude, could be the person to push you through into the playoffs.
That's what I've been saying.
You said that one time for the record. Anyway, Tradon,
All goes
who you
back.
got, man?
You kind of actually alluded to him in your intro. I'm going to go with Gus Edwards today, this week. The Ravens need a running back. Ingram and Dobbins are out on COVID. And assuming the game gets played as scheduled, which I assume it will, we can expect Gus the Bus to get a lot of action. I think he's a solid pick. They need a running back, and I think he's a solid pick.
Does it scare you that he's going against the number one defense in the league right now, in the Steelers?
It would, but they're going to have to take care of two running backs in Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson, so you can't cover them both.
People have. That's why they're 6-4.
Well, not this week, because if you ask Tyler, the Ravens are going to win this week. So.
Yep.
All right, that's my segment. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So, again, don't listen to myself or James because apparently, in our one league, we're terrible. Yeah, James, I know you're in first place in our other leagues. Yeah,
every other league, bro.
I'm pretty sure you're not in first place in the other league that we're in together, but that's okay. We're going to take a quick break,
right.
And when we come back, we're going to not talk about football. We're talking about reality TV because apparently that's what Tyler wanted to talk about this week. So we'll be right back. 2, 3. All right, everybody, we are back. Tyler is talking about reality TV, which is a subject I never thought we would talk about on this podcast. But hey, COVID, baby, let's do this.
Gotta keep you on your toes. We gotta talk about other things every once in a while. So the reason why I'm talking about reality TV is early on in the quarantine COVID times, there were no sports. You were home all day. Wasn't a lot to watch. So sometimes you had to watch different things you probably normally wouldn't have watched, and you got to try different things and just experiment and see what goes on. I personally am not a huge reality TV fan until this quarantine happened. Shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Jess. She got me into some reality TV shows, shows like Survivor, Amazing Race, and Big Brother most recently are some shows that I've never watched before, and now I'm a pretty big fan. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of go around and ask the guys like what reality show they most want to be on. So Tradon, we kind of talked about this a little bit on Sunday. So I'll start it off with you. Which show do you most want to be on?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was a kid, I watched Big Brother a lot. It's a big part of my family's watching patterns. But my favorite, or I guess something that I've always wanted to be on since I was a kid and even now, is The Amazing Race. I think that it'd be so much fun to travel the world like that, do different competitions. I know they're a little dramatized, but the competitions kind of go, in line with the culture, so to speak. So I think it'd be really interesting to be part of that. And I think it would be just fun to take a partner and do that, whether it be a friend, Kylie, or, a parent or something. I think that would be so awesome to do. You really get to know that person, in great times and in bad times, and it's how you react to those, ebbs and flows that that's how you end up winning, or losing. So I think it was always one of the most interesting and fun ones to watch, and I would love to be on that one.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a show that I started watching. I cannot believe I haven't watched this show until this season. I think it's a super fun show. I get to kind of see different parts of the world. I think it'd be super fun to be on. That was going to be my pick, but I knew you were going to pick it, so I have to come up with something else. Alex, what about you, man? Like, what reality show do you most want to be on?
Yeah, so I kind of did sort of two. I'm going old school Survivor. So, I don't know how much Survivor you guys have watched. Ashley is a huge Survivor fan, and she really wants to go on it. And I used to watch with my grandmother all the time. But it's changed quite a bit as the years have gone on. It's less about actually surviving the elements, and now more about scheming and backstabbing and all that bullshit. So if it was more like the early seasons, that would be kind of fun. I would do that one. And then this is kind of cheating because it's not really a reality show, but Jeopardy. I know it's a game show, so I'm kind of cheating a little bit. but especially after my domination in TLDR
Oh,
Jeopardy
God.
episode 2, and my namesake Alex Trebek, I feel like Jeopardy would be awesome. I know I kind of cheated a little bit on that one, but
Yeah,
At
that's.
least he gave us a reality show for one of them.
yeah.
I mean, it's I guess technically a reality show, but I've always joked that sports are also a reality show, and that's the reality shows that I've watched. So whatever,
Hey, there you go.
count it. James, what about you?
I'm gonna be on The Bachelor.
Hey!
I
Hey,
knew
oh,
it.
there it is.
I've seen one episode of The Bachelorette. That's because I was in Indiana and watched it with Lauren
Oh
and
my
Matt.
God.
That 41-year-old babe, man, super hot. Anyway, like I think I'd love to find true love, and what better way to do it than have all of America watching as I pick through, I don't know, 20 beautiful females who supposedly love me back. That'd be fun. That'd be enjoyable. I'd love that. I'm not complaining. So The Bachelor is where it's at. That's what I think I'd like to be on. But also, you guys had mentioned Sunday that you guys thought I'd be good in the Titan games. I'm not sure what that is. So why don't you tell me about it and tell me why I'd be good at it?
Trade and you take it because I honestly have never seen Titan games.
So yeah, Titan games. I kind of paralleled it to what's one of my the Ninja Warrior kind of, but it really emphasizes more just lots of physical strength, and you do a lot more competitions directly against another individual. So it's a lot of complete strength and will competitions. Oh, and it's hosted by The Rock, which in and of itself is kind of puts it above Ninja Warrior because The Rock is one of the best human beings on the planet. James, I highly recommend you look it up. I think it's on Hulu. Kylie loves the show, and I really like the show. I think you'd really get into it, and once you see an episode, you'd be like, okay, I see what you guys are talking about, because I just think that not only your strength but your will to win would give you that edge in that show.
I'll look it up for sure.
Okay, wait. Do you guys remember? I just thought of this one as we're doing this. Do you guys remember MXC?
Yes.
Yes, Tradon, my boy. Thank you. Okay,
Oh my God,
dude, how great would it be? It's like it's Wipeout, or was that what that show's called?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
called-
Wipeout.
It's like Wipeout, but it's a Japanese show, but they put English dubs over the announcers.
Oh my God.
From the late 90s, early 2000s.
I think
It
I've seen
is
a couple of those.
Hilarious.
It is so funny.
It's so you have to run across a river with stones, and then one of them's a fake stone, and you step through it, and they fall into a. It's I don't know, dude. It's great. Yeah, dude. It's on Prime or Hulu or something. I changed.
It is?
my pick.
Oh, I need to
That's
find
what I
that.
want to be on.
Nice.
I want 2000s grainy cable television, Spike TV, MXC. That's what I want to be on.
That's a good one.
Okay, I'm glad, Tradon, that you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh man.
All right. So for me, I love obstacle courses, and so things like that I think would be super fun. So for the longest time, Wipeout was one of the shows I wanted to be on. But I recently just heard from Tradon that someone died on that show. So I don't know about that one anymore. So maybe not Wipeout, but there's this brand new one. If you haven't seen it, you should watch. It's called Holy Moly. It's like an obstacle course plus mini golf. That sounds right up my alley. So
awesome.
I'm going to sign up for that as soon as we're done with this podcast. I'm going to holymoly.com or whatever the fuck I got to go. And I'm going to sign up and play Holy Moly because that looks like so much fun.
Produced by superstar Stephen Curry.
See, there you go. So
Mrs. King, did you hear that curse word? I heard an F-bomb.
she's not here.
Dang, okay.
She left.
Holy Moly is a good one. Dude, there's all these I feel like there's a bunch of new ones that I just have now that I don't have cable. No idea what they are.
Yeah.
Just zero idea.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. You're done. I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
I'm good.
Great
Sorry.
ending. We killed it. That's a great ending. Yeah, so we're missing Eric this week. Hopefully we'll get him back next week. A little bit of a shorter episode. Everyone have a great Thanksgiving. Just like Tradon said, be safe, be smart. If you are traveling, be safe on the roads, crazy times out there. Same thing. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment, tell us we're idiots. I mean, we already know, but feel free to reiterate it. But everyone have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you next week.